Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you to Kat's Tiny Kitchen. No video of me today. The face for radio is really exceptionally bad, so I figured I'd just take video of the food and let it speak for itself. And what we're going to do today is I want to make some shredded beef tacos, and I need to get the first thing going here. So let me grab a pair of scissors, and I've got 4 ancho chilies. I'm just gonna cut them in half, guajillo chilies. I'm gonna cut them in half, and I have 1 ancho chili, and I'm gonna add 2 cloves of garlic to this, and I'm gonna cover this with water. So I'll be right back. What I'm doing here is I'm rehydrating the peppers because I'm going to make a seasoning to add to the meat after the meat's cooked. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this on, turn it on high, and I'm going to let woo, there's a little bit of sip in there. I'm going to let the peppers rehydrate. I'm going to bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to shut it off, and I'm going to let this sit and hydrate the peppers, and then later on you'll see what I'm going to do with the rest of it. So we'll be right back because we're going to start the meat. Okay, so what we got going on here now is I've got about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in my Instapot, and I've got about 1 pound of stew meat that I've seasoned with my salt and pepper garlic, and now I'm going to brown that off. I'm not seasoning it with any flour or anything like that because I really don't want a thickener in this. I'm trying not to crowd my meat. I think this was from a chuck roast or a bottom round roast that I cut up in pieces and froze. Get this going. Hopefully I don't steam you up. And then once we get this browned off, I'm going to add a cup of water, a 12-ounce can of light beer, 2 cloves of garlic, and some beef bouillon to this. And then I'm going to cook it for about 40 minutes on high. I want to be able to shred it, so I'm going to start out at 40 minutes with the pressure cook. And then if it still isn't ready to pull apart, then I'll cook it longer. And this is in my Instapot, and it's on a saute setting, and it's working pretty quick. Just want to kind of get it browned, somewhat brown. Pull this out and put the next round in. You don't really want to crowd the meat because you do want to get a little bit of a brown on this. Hopefully I'm not, yep. It looks like you might be splattering. You might be catching some of the splatter on the lens, so sorry about that, guys. I'm going to get this next round going, and we'll be back. So we are back, and I got my splishes and my grease splashes all cleaned off my lens. And we got a little bit of steam going on here, but the meat is sauteed enough for me. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of a beef stock, or granulated beef stock. Get that stirred up in there a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to add 1 cup of water and a 12-ounce can of light beer. Now you can use any kind of beer you want. If you want to use, you like that hoppy flavor in it, go ahead and get you a dark lager. Excuse me. It works really good. And then I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I'm going to drop in here. And we're going to put our lid on. And I'm going to turn it on to sealing. And let me get you down here so you can see what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to hit pressure cook. I am then going to hit my time up to 40 minutes. And that's all I need to do. It is going to start itself in just a moment. And with that, it'll be on, and then once the pot reaches the correct pressure, the timer will start ticking and the meat will start cooking. And like I said, I'm starting it at 40 minutes now. And I'm going to check it at 40 minutes to see if it will shred. If it will not shred, we're going to cook it longer. So we will see you in a little bit, guys. Okay, so my meat was not done at 40 minutes, so I put it on for another 20, and that'll get the meat ready to shred. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to start getting my peppers together here. So what I'm going to do is take my rehydrated guajillo and ancho chilies, put it here in my magic bullet. I'm using the magic bullet because I want this to be a paste, and I don't think either of my food processor or my blender are going to do that. We're going to put that all in there, including the garlic. Then we're going to add some of the liquid. And this will probably be a step that we take a few at a time. Put that in there. Let's get our blade on here, and this is going to be a little bit noisy, folks, because this sucker gets loud. But let me get this on here. Turn you up a little bit so you can see it. See. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to start whizzing. That looks like it might be enough paste, or enough liquid. I'm going to let her go until it gets good and brown. And I love this magic bullet because this magic bullet really purees stuff. Okay, let's stop it. I'm going to check it too for flavor. I'm making a mess here. Ooh, definitely need some salt. Definitely need some salt. So let me get the salt cellar open here. Put a big old pinch. A little bit more. It's got a good spice to it. Definitely need some salt. So, get the lid back on here. And we're gonna okay, now one more try. Don't worry about my fingers, folks. It's a family meal. Perfect. So now we're going to set this aside. Oops, making a mess. It's okay, it'll clean. So now we're going to set this aside and just waiting on the beef. And I will have something else. I'm going to do some, even though we're doing shredded beef tacos, I'm going to saute some bell peppers and onions to go with it. And we've got some guacamole that I made, and once we get the seasoning in the beef, we should be ready to go. So with that, I will see you in a little bit. Okay, we're back, and it's been an hour on the meat in the Instapot. I put it in my pan here. Hopefully it's shreddable. I test drove one piece, and it does look like it's cooked pretty good. So we should be able to get this all shredded up and ready for dinner. And in case you're wondering, as I always do, the liquid that I cooked this in, I am going to strain it and freeze it and save it for something. Don't know what yet, but I'm sure it's got some good flavor to it. And really all you got to do when you're shredding your meat, just take 2 forks, start pulling apart, and oh yeah, this is cooked very, very good. So we're going to pull this all apart. And get it ready for my sauce. It's as easy as that, folks. Give me a couple minutes and we'll be back with the next step. We are back, and I've got my meat all shredded, and I want to get it seasoned. I'm going to turn this so I have the handle. I want to get it seasoned. I got it on a medium-high heat right now. I just turned it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1/3 cup of that guajillo and ancho chili that I made, and then I've used 2/3 cup of the liquid reserved from cooking the meat, and I'm going to stir this in. Stir it in, and I'm going to let it get all good and mixed. And then we're just going to let it, let the liquid cook down. And going to slam a lid on it and let it go for a little bit. And we'll be back for the next step. Okay, so I've got my oil hot, and I'm going to dump in a half of an onion, about a half of an onion, and a little bit of red bell, yellow bell, and orange bell pepper into my oil. We're going to saute this, and that'll be one of the toppings for the tacos. I don't really want to caramelize them or anything. I just want to get them sauteed, have a little bit of a crunch left in them, and just add them to the dish. And I think it's going to be a nice addition. So while I'm here, I'm going to season this with a little bit of kosher salt. There we go. Help pull some of the moisture out of there. And I'll make it look pretty. It'll be pretty dish. So by the time this is ready, the meat should be ready, and I can plate up and take a picture. Stay tuned, folks, because I should have an avocado or my guacamole recipe out there for you too. couple of weeks from when I videotaped this. Trying to get some content out there for you. You may see some where I still have long hair. I had a lot of stuff that I had videoed throughout last summer and early fall before we had to stop doing that kind of stuff. But I never really got to the editing stage because we just didn't have the time. I didn't have the time. So I don't know yet. I may pop it out there. I may not. We may just start fresh and share what I got going on in my life moving forward. These are almost done. I may have to actually put a little liquid in here. I don't know. It's looking pretty good. I need to make sure that Mike can eat it. For those of you who do know, he's still on his cancer journey. We're on month number 15. He's through 2 rounds of chemo and radiation. Like a trooper, he is a fighter. And now we're doing immunotherapy, and we are finally down to a manageable schedule where we're not driving back and forth 30 minutes, 35 minutes one way to the cancer center. He is tolerated his immunotherapy, a double dose for once a month, so we're pretty much going to be doing it once a month now until October. And then in October we will see if he's beat the cancer or if we have to do more chemotherapy. We talked to the doctor. Radiation is not an option. He's already been radiated there. They won't do it again. It would be chemotherapy. But the doctor said be patient. The tumors are shrinking. And that is the best news ever. And this is pretty much sauteed, folks. Just wanted to get the onions clarified, get a little bit of a soften on the peppers, and we're done. So let me remove this from the heat, and we'll take a peek at the meat. Move you over here to take a peek at the meat, which is looking very good. It's simmering. I want that liquid to cook off. And this is going to be ready to go. So if this is something you think you might want to try, do it. I can guarantee you, I tasted the meat. It is very, very good. It was seasoned pretty good. All that's left to do is take a picture and call it a day. And I'm so glad you all came along for the journey today. Hopefully you can utilize this recipe, give it a shot, do something different. And I want to thank you again, and I wish you a very, very blessed day. We'll see you, folks.